right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, we have none other than Paul Linn here, who's going to be on King at the Table 14 this weekend. Brother, how are you, man?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good, man, but you are looking really in shape for this match. What's the status update? Is this a weight cut match for you?
Yeah, 95, but this is, normally I'm cutting from like 225, more
Yep.
like 103.
Yep.
This whole camp for this match, I've been hovering around more like 98, 99.
Okay.
So this will be, I might not even have to do the sauna, so a little bit
Nice.
leaner than normal, but I feel good.
Leaner than normal is a scary thing when I think about you. I remember seeing like veins on your ankles that were popping out, looking good, man. But anyway, welcome. Big match, man. Big match. David Samusha, he's been the most successful person under the East vs West promo with, I think, 10 world title defenses. But the only man to ever defeat him is you.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think about it, you know, the whole journey that kind of got us both here and everything. But I think David, because of his demeanor and his respectfulness and his quietness on social media, doesn't get nearly the credit that he deserves. I mean, the dude is the pound for pound GOAT right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not arguable. Like, there's a lot of people need to put some respect on his name just because he does things quietly. But those of us that watch really closely know how good he is. And some of those wars that he's been in, I mean, he's just a tremendous champion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to the opportunity when we both faced the first time. It was each of our first matches here. And I think it was a 100 kilogram catch weight. So there was some difference between us in weight. There'll be a little bit less this time. And obviously both of us have competed in, I think, a total of 19 matches.
Okay.
Since then. So.
Okay, so well travelled, both of you, and a lot has changed since then. As you said, there was a bit of a weight difference. So you were right on 100 for that match.
Yep.
And David was closer to
Probably 91.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this
Probably
time,
7, 8, 9 pounds.
so this time it's a 95 kilo. Okay. Now that's a big factor. I know the match last time was incredibly close. You dug deep in that match. That extra pronated side pressure that you've got you through. Are you expecting anything different from David this time with that perhaps extra bit of size that he's got?
I'm expecting more strength. Like in general, I'm expecting a little bit more dominant of the hand, probably. You know, over his time back, I'm expecting him. You know, the match is most likely going to go into a hook. I don't think that there's a way around that, and I think that's both where you want to be. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple options I can try, but the obvious one is power on power. So
Yeah, well, I think that David is, if there's anything that he's going to be stressing about, it's your offensive surges, and that you seem to have an amazing ability to keep high pronation in your offensive drives, even when in the hook. If it stops and you end up supinated, are you ready to dig down into that position as well?
I sure hope so. Ever since my last match with Krasny, I've switched everything up training-wise. So
Okay.
full conjugate method, you know,
So
pretty much.
is that Todd Hutchins inspired?
Yeah, he's been on me for a couple of years now
Okay.
about it, and I've never trained side pressure at all, just on the table, nothing
Yeah.
traditional in the gym. So to me, it was always like an ace up my sleeve.
Okay.
And after the last loss, it was time to pull that ace
Time to
out.
pull it out.
So,
Well, that's
yeah,
exciting.
Things been going well. I haven't been able to gauge it against somebody Samusha's level,
Yep.
but I know the numbers in the gym are climbing, and spots that I wouldn't have went to before, I'll probably be able to go to.
Now, I'm curious, with the side pressure training and the added stress on the joint and the ulnar nerve, has the fundamental strength, the overhead press, and all that remained?
It has remained. So like military, like the several exercises that I'll call like core exercises that I gauge myself on have remained. But the volume that I can do for that general strength stuff has diminished.
Okay.
So rather than doing, 5, 6 general strength exercises, I've had to pare that down to 3. So my numbers though on the flat bench on the military are very similar to what they normally are.
Yep.
And the side pressure's going up. And believe it or not, my elbow's as healthy as it's ever been. So I think there's some truth to the conditioning in the conjugate method.
Yeah, well, I've always felt that there are the three main things in arm wrestling. Move adequately in a technique sense, have muscular strength, but then that anomaly is the conditioning factor.
Yeah.
People like Todd Hutchins, we spoke of, just has that in spades. Samusha is someone who has that in spades as well.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar.
So do you see yourself, if you're successful in this match this weekend, is it because your joints got you home, or is it because your muscular strength got you home?
That's a great question. I guess it depends on how the match goes.
Yeah.
Like if we wind up somewhere where it's going to be joint on joint, I'll be able to gauge that out better.
Yeah.
But to me, this is the litmus test. You know,
Yeah.
what these past 16 weeks of dedicated training to this, what is it going to equate to? So there's a lot of factors there, but I'll be able to answer that question better in a couple
Sure.
of days.
Now, when I think of some of David's matches, I've seen some extreme endurance from him. I think of like the match against Sasho. He did something in that match that I didn't think he could possibly do, and that was lose his wrist entirely to a man as compact as Sasho, and he still had enough
Yeah.
to stay there. It
In
didn't
a supinated
didn't
position
seem
too, no
didn't seem
pronation
human
attack,
at the
yeah.
time. So what I think of when I then bring that back to you is that if this match gets dug down and you both end up exhausted but no pin has happened yet, we start to see some really creative technique. Have you been thinking about that as well, that it might go to some wild places?
Yeah, to be honest, that position that Sasha was in is like the last position I want to be in.
Oh,
really? I don't want to be overpronated in the top roll where
Yeah.
he lost his hand completely. I think that would be trouble for me.
When
I
you're
can't finish it
you're
right
so
away.
gassed that you can't get behind your hand
That's
anymore.
scary. That's a scary position to be in when
Yeah.
you can't pin a guy and you have full control of his hand.
Yeah.
So hopefully we don't get there.
We don't want to see where the kings move.
No,
For-
no. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's good. Man, talking about the mental pressure, who's got more mental pressure in this match?
It's always the heavier person.
Yep.
So, I mean, if I win the match, there'll be half the people pointing at, well, he's bigger. Who
Yeah.
cares? Doesn't matter. So, of course, that adds pressure for sure. I mean, he's got a win streak that gives him pressure as well. But I think, when it's outside your weight class, there's a little bit less.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, it'd be interesting to see. He's obviously dominated the 85 kilo class, 10-time world champ. If he chooses to make this his home, I haven't spoken to him yet, so I don't know if he has really made that decision to say 95 kilos from here on in. But he may well. Do you think that this is a good move by him to step up?
I think it's a good test. You know what I mean? I think to test the waters out. But I mean, to be honest, we need those enduring champions.
Yeah.
And if he's only 91, 92, and he's got to cut 6-7 kilos to make 85, I mean, I think he should cement his legacy there as long as possible. That's just my personal opinion. But there's definitely going to be counter arguments to say bring him up and let's see these fantasy matches that we'd all like to see.
Yeah. Well, if you're a David Samusha fan, you're the man that they fear because you're the only one that got through. Take me back to that match because it was a back and forth match. You made a comeback, didn't you? You were down on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I also did some really dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Did some really dumb stuff. Like got pinned on the slip where I decided to slip last minute. So that one was that put me back.
Yep.
That one put me back, and then I think it put us at 1-1.
Yep.
And then the next round, I was like, well, if I'm not going to time my slips up right, I better just dive into a hook without the strap. Which
Yep.
that was a dumb
That was
decision
a
too.
bad decision.
So then we had to go back to getting the strap and add a little bit of
So
back.
now that you know the formula that worked, you won the match, you made the comeback. It's fair to say that you've earned the right to kind of do the same thing, and he's got to come up with a new plan. He's got to change something. What do you think he's going to change?
I don't know. We'll see. I think he's going to be heavy on containment and trying to force me into a hook.
Yep.
And sometimes it's best not to fight that. So
Yeah, just
I
welcome
don't
the
know how
fight and
much
just take a bit of high ground and which is you. That's I think of your match against Lachlan Adair, for example. Someone supinating low, you're a master of keeping height in that hook, driving sideways. And if you've been going hard for 16 weeks with the conjugate method, how's that been? Has Todd actually been involved in it, or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, he's, you know, I've gone train with him a bunch of times. He always tells me I'm dumb for the way I do things, and he makes a great argument.
Yeah.
His argument's simple. He's like, you know, who are the most famous arm wrestlers that you know? You know, Michael Todd and Devin Larratt, and he's, what does their training look like over the past 10 years? I said, well, it's changed. And he said, what does mine look like? And I'm 68 or 58, and I'm a world champion. So you can't really argue that. I said, fine, we'll do it. And he gave me the first 6 movements for my first cycle through it.
Yep.
And then I adapted.
Then you adapted it
Yeah.
based on what you felt was needed, and that, yeah, well, there's no doubting what he has done is special. You know, like I said, the oldest world champion out there at the moment. So, and how old are you at the moment, Paul? You're
I'll be 44.
44. Now, do you feel you're in your muscular peak right now as an athlete, or you feel like there's more to come?
Muscular.
Muscular
I think
strength.
that's in the past.
Okay.
I think that's in the past.
But
I think like when it comes to like physique and overall body potential, I think like for the non-joint driven stuff
Yep.
is probably in my rear view. But I think the joint and tendon and ligament stuff, all that stuff.
Never seems to stop.
No.
Yeah, I asked Ron Barth that question, and he said 40 to 45 muscular peak, and he said right now joint peak. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably about accurate.
Yeah, and that's one of the wild things about the sport, that we can do that. But anyway, man, well, I want to wish you the best. This could be the match of the night. I think when it comes to how close this battle can be, as the only man to have beaten David, you know how to do it. So best of luck. But ladies and gents, make sure you grab your pay-per-view. Do not miss this match. Paul Linn of the USA up against David Samusha, who's the 10-time defending world champion of 85 kilos. But this is the only man that's ever beaten him. So do not miss it. Head to evwsports.com and grab your pay-per-view. Thank you.